Hello and welcome to another extremely big takeaway from just the first week of football. A team that I was already not very high on this season has just stunned me even more and is just completely and utterly ridiculous how fast the program has fallen to pieces. And it doesn't look like there's any time of recovering is Baylor. Baylor not only loses to Texas State, they get owned by Texas State. I mean, just absolutely absurd. They lose by 11 points at home. Unbelievable what has happened to this Baylor team. Me personally, I did not watch it because there was other games going on at the time. But let's go ahead and look at the stats. So the quarterback for Baylor being Blake Shapen threw 21 for 31, 304 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Whereas the quarterback for Texas State, TJ Finley, threw 22 for 30, 298 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Overall, very similar in the passing game. It was just a rushing game that offered more yards for Texas State, not even by a whole lot. It was the passing game for Baylor that offered more yards to them. So obviously it looks like to me the Baylor quarterback either got hurt or pulled, which wouldn't even matter because Texas State was winning the whole game. And Baylor would finish off with 525 yards. Texas State would finish off with 441. So almost a 100-yard difference, almost an 80. Very close to an 80-yard difference there. Baylor still manages to lose by 11 points. Both teams having 2 turnovers. Baylor threw an interception and lost a fumble. Texas State lost 2 fumbles. What really slaughtered Baylor was the penalties. It was the penalties. Texas State had 4. Baylor had 9. That's just way too many penalties. Ultimately, Texas State went for 4 fourth downs. It got all 4 of them. Baylor went for 4 fourth downs. It got 3 of them. Both teams were about the same on third down efficiency. It just looks like penalties slaughtered Baylor today. But ultimately, Texas State putting up these numbers against a Power 5 school is just ridiculous. And a major takeaway for me is I was almost looking at the Utah at Baylor game potentially being an upset because it's at Baylor. I'm saying no way in a million years now. There's no way. Utah will most likely destroy them. Baylor will probably get their first win against Long Island before they have to play Texas. I mean, seriously, I'm looking at Baylor's schedule right now, and I'm saying this could very well be a 3-win team, maybe even a 2-win team. From just performance against Texas State, I get it, it's the first week of football. It's hard to jump to assumptions and whatnot, but still, Texas State by 11 points is like Appalachian State to Texas A&M. Like, that's bad. That is a terrible, bad loss. So I thought I'd just point that out. I'm just making these little videos on, I feel like, the biggest takeaways of week 1 because, I would love to make the video at the end of the day today, but we've got a massive game tomorrow. I think we have a couple games tomorrow. Yeah, we have a couple important games tomorrow, as well as we have a big one on Monday. So I was like, I'm not going to wait all that time for one big video. I'm just going to consistently post videos, as well as it keeps my memory fresh so I don't forget things. And, yeah. So that's all I have to say for this one. Just wanted to point this one out to the world for how embarrassing this is and how much Baylor has just fallen apart from winning the Big 12 championship in 2021 and going a 2-loss team to losing to Texas State. Baylor is just awful, and that's all I really had to point out for this one. Like and subscribe would help. A comment on anything of your choice. That's all for me. Adios.